Paddy works on the railway. In 1842 from Hartlepool I moved to Crewe, found myself a job to do, working on the railway.
Hello. Full disclosure, this is a reshoot. I've already made this piece. I've done this intro before, but it was when my cold was really bad and I had no voice at all. By the time I edited out the coughs and sneezes, it was so bad. I'm going to pretend and shoot the whole thing again. It's acting, right? By the time I've edited it in the front, then you won't know the difference, except I just told you. So, hey, them's the breaks. Okay, so, on with the show. A couple of weeks ago, I did a video on the Wobble chuck, and I bemoaned the loss of my Patriot chuck because this fits the Patriot chuck perfectly, and it was a bit iffy in the Axminster chuck. It didn't fit quite as well, but we did a goblet with it, and the lovely people up at Robert Sorby, they saw my video. They took pity on me for not owning a Patriot chuck, so they sent me one. They got in touch and said, would you like a Patriot chuck? And I said, yes, please. So I have a Patriot chuck. So let's do an unboxing video before we do the rest of it. So you open the box and you've got instructions and a list of accessory jewels. You have the Patriot chuck itself. You have a grub screw so you can put it on and turn it in reverse. There's a screw hole there. So that's a locking screw. Allen keys to fit, and a worm screw which fits nicely into the middle. And a chuck key. This is a hex key, ball-ended, which means you can approach from different angles. And I'm just going to measure that because I don't know what it is. But if you want to use your own hex keys, it's 8mm, which I believe is the same as the Record Power SC4 and the Nova chuck. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's true. And this is a lovely, lovely piece of engineering. Robert Sorby, do not put numbers on their carriers because they're so well engineered, any order it will fit. The jaws are Nova and Record Power compatible, so you can use jaws from different chucks on them. But look at that, that's tiny. It's a 4-inch chuck, but this way, compared to the others, it's much smaller, much neater. It doesn't weigh a great deal, probably a kilo or so. Now, you cannot, if your chuck is jammed on, you cannot use a chuck key like this to undo it, which you shouldn't do anyway. What you do is use your chuck key in the jaws, and off it comes. As I said, this is an absolutely fabulous chuck. It's the same as other chucks, but do you remember that Volkswagen Golf advert where they just shut the door? Because the engineering is just that bit better. that applies here. It's just that much more precise, that much more crisp. It's beautifully put together and a highly recommended chuck. And I'm very, very pleased to own one again. Now, being a bit cheeky, when they said, would you like a Patriot chuck? I said, I'd also like one of your Steb live centres, the half-inch one, small one. Because using the Wobble chuck, you are putting a screw into end grain. So you're putting a screw into end grain, so therefore you do need a decent support in the tailstock to stop it pulling off that end grain, especially when it's in full wobble, and you can't get better than that. I've used a Steb drive for many years. It's the first one I bought, and I bought it probably the year they came out. It's been a long time. But this is the first Steb live centre I've had. Normally I would use a ring centre, but it's basically the same. This has got the retracting point as well, which can be useful. It's got the shore drive, or shore support in this case, not drive, of the teeth. And I got one. Thank you very much, Robert Sorby. Right, so the rest of the video is going to be me using the Wobble chuck and making a lamp. That's it, really. As I said, this is edited on afterwards because I had no voice at all when I was actually doing the job. So we'll put it all together and make it look as though it was all purposely done. I'll probably edit that bit off because I just waffled then for no good reason. But I will say, if you like what you see, please put your thumbs up and subscribe, make a comment, because that all helps the channel and is much appreciated. Okay, so we have our lamp. I've taken the liberty of putting a fitting on the top already. I use brass lamp fittings. That causes a slight issue because you've got to earth that, so you've got to have a 3-core cable. But I just think they look nicer than plastic, and at a price that I can sell these lamps for, that makes it worth turning them. I need to have the quality of the brass. Sometimes the antique brass looks better, depends on the wood. For a lighter wood, I like the bright brass. So, let's get this baby wired up. I'm not an electrician, so I'm not going to show you the wiring up itself on YouTube, because that's a job for an electrician, not me. You'll see I've got a hole coming in from the side. It goes quite tight turn. I normally have a bigger mortise than this, to be absolutely honest, but I skimped a bit on this one. You can see I'm going up through. And I'm nice and tight and neat in there. It stands flat because my hole is going through the side. And what I'll do is put my lamp on the top, decide how long the cable's going to be. If you've got a commission, worth asking a customer, measure from wherever it's going to the socket, get a decent length of fit their particular issue. I had one where it was bedside lamps. The plugs were all on one side, so one cable was longer than the other. Saves tangles and it keeps things neat. And if you're making them for a commission, you can specialise like that. Right, so I said I'm not going to film me wiring it up, but I will show you this bit. So that's just a lampshade holder. It's the cover. So you've got 2 cables going into that. Your live and neutral, and your earth goes into that there. So screw that on, and away you go. Okay, that's wired up. As I said, I don't show the wiring because I'm not an electrician, so I don't film it. But it's as simple as wiring up a plug. Well, that end certainly is, and that end's probably even easier. But I leave that to your own judgment. Plug it in, turn it on, and we have a lamp. Thanks for watching. Huge thanks to Robert Sorby for supplying me with a Patriot chuck and the Steb drive centre I've owned for years, to assist in making this video. And that's it. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers for now.